everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Obsessive Makeup Podcast. My name is Sian and I'm coming to you from Melbourne, Australia. For those of you who have been watching along, welcome back. And for any new viewers, welcome. I hope you find something that you enjoy here, even if it's just to ogle some yarn or watch a bit of a spiel about some finished objects or anything like that. So feel free to drop in and drop out as much as you like. I won't be offended. So today I'm actually filming on my brand new camera. I have upgraded from my iPhone to a proper digital camera. I honestly don't know how to describe it other than it's a massive level up, and I have a big learning curve ahead of me. But the way I've been able to afford to purchase a new camera is partially down to you guys supporting me and purchasing some of my things on my Ko-Fi shop. And yeah, so you have helped me jumpstart and hopefully level up this podcast a little bit. So thank you so much to those who have supported me with that. It has been a while since I have spoken to you, so we have lots to catch up on. And since I last spoke to you, there's been a lot happening out in the world. I'm sure everyone by now is aware of the war in Ukraine. There have been other disasters as well happening across the globe. And honestly, like I'm sure you're feeling, there's this general sense of helplessness. Unless we could actually be there to tangibly help, there's only so much we can do in terms of donating, showing support for those that need it. Yeah. There are no words, clearly. I'm not the most articulate person in the world, but there are so many others who've said it better than me, and honestly, I honestly don't know what the world's coming to be honest. Anywho, so we have to find little nuggets of happiness, little ways to not necessarily distract ourselves, but to embrace the things that we find joy in. And that's why I hope you're here today to enjoy, some knitting and making, and just kind of immerse yourself in that like I do when I watch all of your podcasts out there as well. So yes, so let us talk about what we're here to talk about today. And where should I start? I guess we'll start with the usual program. What am I wearing? It's as good a place as any to start, I guess. And I apologize if I'm getting a little sweaty. It's the weather has done a bit of a U-turn and given me a bit of whiplash. We had some cooler weather the last couple of weeks, and today and yesterday and the day before we've got sunny summer weather again, so I'm sweating a little bit. So I have got my summer jumpsuit on. This is the ZADIE jumpsuit by Paper Theory in a wonderful Lisa Condon print, and I bought the fabric a few years ago from Nerida Hansen, and yes, I made this a couple of years ago, but I haven't had very many occasions to wear it, so I thought I would wear it today and let you enjoy it as well. It's a fantastic simple jumpsuit, wrap front, bias binding around the neckline. It's got pockets and everything, and it comes in like full leg length or cropped wide leg length. And honestly, I'm so short, I just went with the cropped because I thought, you know what, it's probably going to be full length anyway. So yeah, anyway, it's a great little jumpsuit. I'm glad I made it. I would like to make more, but I'm not sure jumpsuits are for me. I know they're trendy. I know people love them, and I can see why people love them because it's like one piece, you throw it on, it's easy to wear. But my God, when you have to go to the bathroom and take this thing off, and then like it's some sort of, you've got to juggle the straps, make sure they don't drag on the bathroom stall floor, or God forbid, drop into the toilet. Anyway, so I mean, jumpsuits are just awkward to get out of when you need to go to the bathroom. So yeah. So yeah, I don't wear it that often. If I do, it's only for short periods of time, like if I'm going to an event or something, which is very infrequent, I have to say. So that's what I'm wearing. The pattern itself is so well drafted. It is a fairly size inclusive pattern. I honestly can't remember what size I made, but I know I've posted about it on Instagram probably a couple of years ago now. But if you have the patience and you're interested, scroll back through my posts and you'll find this in there, and I'm sure I will have mentioned what size I made. But yeah, otherwise comment below and I'll find the information and let you know. But yeah, moving on. Yeah, as I said, it's been really productive. It's been about a month or so since I last spoke to you. I have been knitting like crazy. I signed up for a test knit and that is due in about a week's time, so I have loads of work to do. So why don't I just start with my finished objects and then we'll move on to the whips. And I also have some acquisitions. Not that many, but just kind of things I needed, so we'll talk about those later. So, my finished objects. I have been working on my husband's Mithril Boston vest by Drops for a long time, and I have finally finished it, and you can see it behind me, just here. Let's see if I can focus on it. No, I'm gonna have to get it down. So here it is. This is his Boston vest. There we go. It is made in Mithril Yarn by Stansborough Mills. I've spoken about it before. It's New Zealand yarn, and I knit this up on 4mm needles. It's the size XL in the Drops Boston vest pattern. The pattern is fairly straightforward. It's not a style of pattern that I enjoyed reading, but it did the job and it's exactly what my husband asked for. So it's a fairly straightforward kind of V-neck vest button down. So you start by knitting the front to here, and then the other front to here, from the shoulder down to here, and then you knit the back, and then then you join them all together at the shoulder seams. So you've got the back and the front. Yeah, so you have to do some sewing in the shoulder seams, and then you pick up under the arm, and you're basically knitting, not in the round, but you are knitting back and forth. So knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, all the way around. And because I do purl, everyone purls, I just haven't purled that much. I usually knit things in the round, and yeah, it took a long time and I lost interest. So partway through, I actually picked up the sleeves, not the sleeves, the arms, the underarms, and I did the rib binding on those. There we go. And it says to knit it a little bit wider, but I did it to what I thought looked good, and the same with the neckline as well. So it was supposed to be, I think, about 4 centimeters wide, but I thought that would look a little bit awkward. And the first time, this is the first time I've ever done buttonholes. Sorry. I'm still getting to know this camera, so it's still a little bit awkward. Just trying to, there we go. So yes, I did buttonholes, and apparently there's several different methods of doing buttonholes, but in this case I did a horizontal buttonhole, and I really like the effect it has. So rather than the yarn over buttonhole, you're actually binding off stitches, and then you're casting on new ones for the other side of the buttonhole. And yeah, I quite enjoyed that. It was a really fun process, and I'm glad I got to kind of choose which buttonhole I wanted to make, because I completely ignored the pattern. And yes, so it's done. So my husband really wanted pockets. This pattern doesn't come with pockets, so I self-drafted a couple of pockets, one of them being this little patch pocket here. And I did another bigger one for down here, but once we pinned them on, it didn't look very good with like an awkward large pocket here and then a little one here. But he's really happy with it. I'm glad he likes it. It's not cold enough here yet to wear it. And I have to say, I will, if I ever have to make a vest or a cardigan, I'm going to do it in the round and steek it, because I cannot spend 3 months making a garment. It was longer than 3 months, like on and off, clearly. But yeah, I don't like losing interest in something, because then it just sucks all the joy out of it. So it's done now. I made a hell of a lot of mistakes, mainly dropping stitches and then having to pick them up. And then I found some stitches that I dropped and hadn't picked up. So I then had to kind of like, I guess tie them off on the inside to like its neighboring stitches. You can't tell unless you look really closely. But yeah, so yeah, it's done. So I'm gonna hang that back up. So the other things I was working on, so I got so bored making that, as I've already said. I decided to cast on a few other things, and one of those things was the Basset Hat. Now, I've spoken about this pattern before, I think in my last episode, my last podcast episode, and I was saying how much I just kind of fell in love with the pattern immediately. So I was like, oh my god, it's so cute, I have to make it. So I was going to make one for my husband as well, because that is his hobbit vest, because it's made of mithril yarn. And I thought the Basset Hat kind of looks similar to Radagast, the wizard's hat in, I think, The Hobbit as well. So I thought, oh, I've got some grey mithril yarn. I'll make a Basset Hat out of the grey mithril yarn. And then my husband's got a Hobbit vest and Radagast hat, and then he'll be happy. I make him sound like a total geek, but he's not. He's got a good sense of humour. So before I made his, I thought, you know what, I'll make up my own. I had some mohair in stash, and I'd bought some yarn from Skeinz in the, I was about to say in the UK, it's not, it's New Zealand. And I wanted to test out some of their yarns. So I bought a skein or a ball of their Snug DK in the colourway Duck Egg, and I had some Aloft yarn from Knit Picks that I bought when I first started knitting. Actually, I did a bit of a yarn haul from Knit Picks, because why not? They had free shipping to Australia and a discount like for your first purchase or something. So yeah, so anyway, I digress. So I had stash yarn and I had this tester ball from Skeinz, and it turned out to be the perfect weight for the Basset Hat. And it was such a quick knit. I think I finished it in 2 weeks of intermittent knitting, in between working on the Boston vest, and it is so cute. I mean, I just love the little turn up here, and the edge finish as well. It's just done in stockinette stitch in a smaller needle size, but it has a really beautiful effect. And then you've got little I-cord ties, or you could do buttoned, like a little button tab to kind of bring that together under the chin. But I think the ties are really cute. So that edge finish goes all the way around. The hat is knitted in 1x1 rib, and it's large needles, and I should know what size needle, but I've completely forgotten. I think it's 5.5mm needles. And yeah, it was just so quick. And the good thing is the swatch that you knit up to test your gauge ends up being, if it's the right gauge and you want to continue knitting the hat, it ends up being the top part of the hat, because that's where you start. You knit a square, essentially a square to start with in 1x1 rib, and then you can keep going. And you do increases here and increases here and in the back, and then you end up knitting in the round, and then, you know, back and forth at the different spots for the front flap and the side flaps, and there's a few short rows in the back. And yeah, I just thought it was a really simple but ingenious pattern, really well written as well. I think it's Creadia Studio, and I think it's her very first pattern, and it's just really well written, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And she actually has a few instructional videos on her YouTube channel as well, so I highly recommend knitting that up. It's such a great knit. It's so cute on. I'm not going to put it on right now because it's really steamy in this room. And I'm already sweating a little bit, but I have taken a photo and posted it on Instagram, so I will pop it here so that you can see what it looks like. It's just adorable, and I honestly wish I lived in a freezing cold climate with really cold winters, because I would be wearing one of these every day. It's adorable. That is all I have to say. Go knit it. So yeah. So that was one of them. The other thing is I'd been eyeing up some slipovers, and one of my buddies on Instagram, she's a sewist and a knitter now as well, is Nancy from Unpick a Queen. She has like full on delved into slipover knitting, and I had a little bit of FOMO, and I'd been eyeing up the Petite Knit weekend slipover, and it was the high neck one, kind of like the turtleneck one. And then I saw the V-neck one. I was like, ooh, I am partial to a V-neck. So I thought I would knit up the V-neck. I had some lovely mohair from Louie and Lola in my stash that I was really looking forward to knitting up, and I wanted to find a yarn that matched it. So that was the reason I actually placed the order at Skeinz in New Zealand, is because they have a range of DK, several ranges of DK weight yarn that is really affordable, and I didn't want to spend too much money, so I thought I'd give them a go, which is why I had a skein of the Snug DK, which is what I knitted this up in. I would say I love the Snug DK. It's kind of almost a rustic type DK. This is their Flight DK, and it is much more, I think it's almost a superwash. It is a cool, I think it's a cool machine wash yarn, so I'm pretty sure it's a superwash. It doesn't say superwash, but I would never throw anything in the washing machine to wash anyway that's knitted, except to do a spin cycle to get all the water out. I'm rambling. Sorry guys, I'm out of practice. Anyway, I bought the Flight DK yarn in the colorway Katydid. It is a, it's hard to tell, it doesn't really show up here. Let me see if that will help. It is a kind of sagey green, sea green colorway, and I put it worked perfectly with the Louie and Lola mohair, which was the colorway, oh my gosh, I am really not helpful here. I'll put it in text at the bottom of the screen. But I just thought it was a beautiful combination. And what I loved about this slipover is the detail of the V-neck, this bit here, and also at the underarms it has the same detail there. And on the model, it just looked lovely. Now, I'm aware I'm not the same size and shape as the model in the photo, but I thought, you know what, I could totally pull that off. I think the model has like just a basic white t-shirt and then like a chocolatey brown, rusticy brown colored V-neck slipover over the top. And I was like, yeah, that looks cool. I could do that. I finished this. I tried it on the same style and it just looks really frumpy on me. So although I was really excited to knit it and to finish it, and I think it looks awesome on the hanger, I just don't know if it suits me. Like the color, yes, the color definitely suits me, but I just don't know how to style it. Maybe that'll change when winter comes around. Maybe I'll find ways to style it. that's fine. So I'm not going to give up on it. It'll just go in my wardrobe with my other knits for now. And one day when I'm feeling it, I'll dig it out. I'll try it out with a few different outfits and see how it goes. But yeah, overall it was a really simple knit. So the pattern itself is fairly simple. In true petite knit style, it has this, what I love is this seam detail here in the shoulder. And so you start by, do you start by knitting the back? I think you start by knitting, no, I'm wrong, ignore me. I'm pretty sure you start by knitting one side from the front, like I think a little bit, and then you like pick up here. No, I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure, okay, just ignore me. I'm pretty sure it's you start with the back neck, and you do short rows. I think so. It's very similar to the Wednesday sweater that I made anyway, and I just love that seam line there, that effect. It just kind of hugs the shoulders really nicely. This is quite a deep V for me, so if I were to put it on, it comes right down to between my boobs. So I couldn't wear it on its own. I would definitely have to wear something underneath it. I really enjoyed the finishes on this. It was just a really nice methodical knit. Something a little bit more interesting than what I was currently working on at the time. And yeah, I knitted it up in a size 2XL. I probably should have sized down. I ummed and ahed about choosing a size for a little bit, and then I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go with it. Go with the 2XL, because that's what I knitted up on the Wednesday sweater, and it ended up being a really nice baggy oversized look, which is what I kind of wanted with that slipover. And I'm glad I did it. I just don't know how to style it. I've got that kind of post-pandemic socially style, or awkward style thing. Very articulate. Anywho, so they are my 3 finished objects, and just a mini yarn review. So far so good with the Skeinz yarn. Like I said, I really do like the rustic Snug DK. The Flight, I'm pretty sure it was Merino DK, is good. I'd say it's a good, decent DK, and it's really reasonably priced. I think it's only like $5 per 50 gram ball, and a ball goes a long way. I ordered more than I needed for this, so I've still got almost 2 balls left. I think I ordered 8 balls for the size 2XL, and I've still got, yeah, 1 and a bit left. So I'm thinking I might use what's left over for maybe a colorwork sweater at some point to include in there. So yeah. Oh, I do have one other finished object. It's sewing related. And I apologize if I'm not quite looking at the lens, because my camera has a little flip out screen. So I just want to make sure that everything's still in focus and that I still have time left on the memory card. Yeah. So the other thing I made was this lovely elastic waist skirt. It is a beautiful lilac-y lavender color, viscose tencel slub, linen slub fabric I got from Blackbird Fabrics about 1.5 years ago, at the very beginning of the pandemic, when I was just acquiring stuff to get me through. And I've been umming and ahhing about using this fabric. I had 2 meters, which wasn't quite enough for a pair of trousers. A pair of trousers would have been fantastic in it, but I was also really craving another skirt for winter, and this has a really nice weight and drape to it. And I think it will look lovely with some of my sweaters. It's in the same kind of pastel color family, as you can see behind me here as well. I've kind of got a whole turquoise, purple thing going on. There seems to be a bit of a, yeah, a bit of a colour theme happening at the moment. So yeah, so I finished that. I haven't got much to say about it. It's a pattern I have made before. It is the Gypsum Skirt pattern, and it comes in 2 different styles. This is the very simple A-line elastic waist skirt. It does have pockets drafted into it. I left them out because I do love pockets, but I don't necessarily love them on flowy skirts. And that's what I wanted this to be. I wanted this to be a simple basic skirt that I can wear to highlight some of my sweaters in winter. Wear it with a pair of boots. It's nice and long. It kind of hits me at midi length. I lengthened the pattern by about 8 to 10 inches because the original pattern kind of hits at the knee. Yeah, not a lot to say. Simple elastic waist skirt. Honestly, if you have a look at the pattern layouts, it's like an A-line skirt. So yeah, very simple. I haven't actually even, I have loads of labels. I haven't actually even put a label in the back yet. So yeah, it's so simple, I didn't even bother. So that one is done as well. I think that's my finished objects for now. There's always something I forget to talk about, and so yeah, I was actually organised today. I have a list in front of me as well. I'm like, have I talked about that? Boston vest, tick. Basset hat, done. Weekend slipover, yes. Gypsum skirt, yes. And now I guess we're on to the whips as well. And